And there it is. It just passed a little dirt road that would have been great for a turnoff. But that's okay. We'll see how far this can take us. And looks like there might be a pullout spot. Hello everyone, welcome to Out of Spec Testing. I'm Ryan. Today I'm with our Tesla Cybertruck and we're going to be doing a capacity test. We're going to see how much range and battery capacity is lost over the past several thousand miles. It's pretty windy out here, so let me go ahead, jump in the car and tell you a little bit about our plan. Like I mentioned, we're in our Tesla Cybertruck, and Kyle and Out of Spec have had this for the past several months, over a year now, and we've had it for 26,000 miles. We're going to be sending this back to Tesla for a variety of problems that we've had with this truck, so that's a whole nother video that you can probably find on Out of Spec Reviews. However, we're going to be doing some final testing. We've had this for a while. We've had 26,000 miles done, and we want to see if there's been any battery capacity loss. So what the plan is to compare the battery capacity that we measured during a simulated range test and compare it to something that we've done before. Now, we did our first range test with this Cybertruck Cyberbeast a while back, and it was during a comparison video with a bunch of different electric vehicle trucks. So that was the Rivian, Silverado, F-150, and the Cybertruck. And during that test, we were able to pull 123 kilowatt hours out of this battery, out of this truck. And we don't have any more information. We don't have a decimal point on that, but 123 kilowatt hours is how much was taken from the battery during that test. We're going to basically be doing the same thing again. We're going to be rerunning a range test essentially and looking at how much battery that we end up using, and then using that number and comparing it with that 123 figure that we received earlier. A couple things I want to mention. That range test was when we had a few thousand miles already on the truck, so there may have been a little bit of battery degradation, but it was still a pretty new vehicle. Next, I also want to mention that while we're doing this in a range test setting, we're not really looking at the range right now or the efficiency for a couple reasons. First, there's a lot of differences between this truck and the truck that we tested earlier. It now has a light bar, and it also has the off-road wheels and tires, so not going to be an apples-to-apples comparison. And additionally, while the weather's decently warm, we've got in the high 60s today, it's pretty darn windy, as you heard earlier, so that will make our range considerably worse. Still, that shouldn't really affect the amount of energy that we pull out of the battery too much, and we should get a pretty good estimate of how much battery that we actually have available. So with that, let's go ahead and charge up and then get started. We're now at 99% state of charge. It no longer has an estimated time to 100%, but we're still doing 28 kilowatts, so I imagine we have a little bit of time left. And we're just going to be going up to 100% state of charge. We've got climate control running at 72 degrees. That'll keep the cabin nice and cool so that we're using energy from the charger rather than energy from the battery. And again, just to reiterate, this is going to be very similar to all of our range tests. Very similar procedures. The only difference is we're really focusing more on the kilowatt hours used rather than the range or efficiency. Those will still be interesting things to look at for our current conditions. We'll also get an interesting number for efficiency when we've got these big off-road tires and the light bar. But really, we're focusing on the battery capacity. How much battery capacity has been lost over the past 20-ish thousand miles, considering that the first test we did was with a few thousand miles on the odometer. So again, 26,000 miles on the lifetime of the truck, and about to start the range test, so we'll see how much energy we can actually pull out of the truck. Still charging up at 99%, 4 kilowatts. Just wanted to show that I've got it on chill mode, relaxed, lower ride height. We're going to put everything in as efficient as a mode as we can. I've also got the camera set up so I don't have to hold the camera while I'm driving. Yeah, most efficient settings possible, maximize the amount of range that we have, but we're only going to go so far. You can kind of see the plants are moving around. It's quite windy today. But regardless, we'll still get a good read on how much energy is still in this pack, and that's the main thing. So you'll join me in a few minutes, hopefully, on the other camera when I'm leaving. Just hit the charge limit so we can go ahead and go. And off we go. As you can see, I created a trip called Capacity and reset it, so we should be all good. As you can see, I am merging onto the highway right now, doing a nice gentle acceleration, minimizing any sorts of heat loss, and trying to reach a 71 indicated miles per hour at the end of this merge lane. Perfect. And now we can just buckle in. You're joining me as I take the exit. I took off cruise control as I go around this bend, and we're going from the I-25 North onto I-80 East. This is the same route that we always do, same thing that we've done for all of our range tests. And just a quick stat update so far. We've gone 49.3 miles, 35.3 kilowatt hours used, and 715 watt hours per mile. Like I said, it's quite windy, so that's going to be a pretty big hamper on us. But still, something I am noticing is we've got a decimal place now. It says 35.5 kilowatt hours that we've used. Previously, it would just tell us whole numbers, so this will give us a little bit more precision, though we are still stuck with just the 123 with no decimal place for the energy used on our previous test. So, a little bit good, but would be nice if we had that number beforehand too. Not sure how well you can see the flag on the left, but it is blowing hard. Again, just reiterating, it's a windy one, so we're not going to see great efficiency or a great range, but that's okay. It'll be interesting just to see what it gets, and the important thing is the capacity. You're joining me as I'm reaching a good turnaround point. I've put back Owl Canyon, which is where we do our loops around, as a destination, and it says we should get back with about 12% state of charge, so plenty to do some loops around there, and there's not a good exit for about 10 or so miles after this, so this will be a good option for us. And just an update, we've gone 92.5 miles at 562 watt hours per mile, and it looks like the efficiency has gotten a little bit better from the last check-in, but still not very good, well under 2 miles per kilowatt hour. I'm now doing regenerative brakes to put energy back into the pack, and again, it'll just be a quick turnaround and then a gentle acceleration onto the highway again, trying to reach 70 miles an hour at the end of the merge lane. But like I said, regenerative braking and putting as much energy into the pack as I can. Another quick update, we've gone, 114 miles, 597 watt hours per mile. We're getting close to Hummer EV territory for as far as efficiency. We've used 68.2 kilowatt hours. We're at 39% state of charge, so plenty of time, and it looks like we'll get back with around 13% state of charge. One thing I can definitely notice is the wind. I can feel it pushing me, and it is very loud in here. Lots of wind noise, but to be expected with a strong headwind. We're now reaching the exit for Fort Collins, taking 25 back south. It says we should arrive with about 11% state of charge, so plenty to do some loops around there. And right now, we have used a total of 86.1 kilowatt hours. I'm about to exit Owl Canyon and turn around and head back on the highway. I've got 11% state of charge. I've used just under 100 kilowatt hours, 99.9 kilowatt hours. And we're doing just about 1.6 miles per kilowatt hour. That means that we've gone 163 miles, and we've got a little bit more to go. There's 100 kilowatt hours. So I'm gonna go ahead, take this exit at Owl Canyon, and turn around, head on the highway, and run this out until it's completely dead. We're at 10% state of charge now, so it shouldn't be long. I'm rejoining the highway for what should be the last time. I'm at 6% state of charge, and I should get to the frontage road with, it says 3% state of charge, so that's looking good. Right now we've used 105.2 kilowatt hours, still at 1.6 miles per kilowatt hour. It's time to now exit the highway and enter the frontage road. I can go ahead and end this trip and give you a quick update on things. Well, we're only able to manage 177 miles so far, and we will be able to reach 70 miles an hour once we get to the frontage road, but this is going to be a pretty short range test, all things considered. So far, we've used 107.4 kilowatt hours. And of course, frontage road is right here. Easy to get to. And then we can accelerate up gently to 70 miles an hour. Down to 3% state of charge, so we'll see how this goes. At 1% state of charge, I can see there's 3 dots now on my accelerator graph, so it's limiting my power just a little bit. Update, we're at 180 miles, 110.5 kilowatt hours used, so we'll see how the rest of this goes, but we're nearing the end for sure. I'm now at 0% state of charge. I've got 4 dots, so I think I can keep going for a good little while. And 181 miles.
I am cruising down the road in the Model 3 LFP that I have as a loaner for my Model S, and I can see Ryan right there at 0% in the Cybertruck. Now, I am of no help in this car, but our buddy Dan's bringing his Cybertruck over. So there goes Ryan, 0%. Man, it doesn't look any different at 0%, does it? You'd think it'd shrink. All right, I should flip around here. So I'll be there just for moral support, more or less. Time to bust a Yui. There goes Ryan, ripping. I'm trying to catch up to him, but the little LFP, it's struggling. This thing is not that fast. And we have found our buddy Dan. That's how we're gonna rescue the Cybertruck. We've used Dan and Nicole's Cybertruck before. So if you just want to follow Ryan, as soon as he pulls over, we'll get it plugged in.
Yeah. How close are we?
We're well below 0. Okay. So perfect. Thanks, dude. There we go.
I'd say I'm a little bit surprised. We've made it to the end of the frontage road, so we can go ahead and turn around. We're able to maintain 70 miles an hour that entire time. We're now at 183 miles, but it'll be a little bit more because we can still manage to do 70 miles an hour. Go ahead, do a quick turnaround here. And accelerate back up again. The throttle pedal feels a little slow, but nothing crazy. There's 4 dots. I'm only using about half of our available power. And 71. Perfect. Well, now I'm very surprised because we're reaching the end of the frontage road yet again. So I'll turn around again, and there is a bit more of a power limit, but it's not that much. And looks like there's a Cybertruck, likely the one to rescue us. And just a little update, 189 miles, 115.3 kilowatt hours used. And then I'll do a quick turnaround and see if I can still manage. Just a little conference, I suppose, but accelerating back up again. Okay, I'm flooring it now. I'm still accelerating. See, the power meter lied to me. We're not able to reach 70, I don't think. I'm flooring it, we're still accelerating a bit, but I think that's going to be it. So, we'll say the official range was 189 miles at 1.6 miles per kilowatt hour. That is only marginally better than a Hummer EV. That's at about 1.4 miles per kilowatt hour. Now, we're just going to be looking at the amount of energy. We're at 115.9 kilowatt hours used. And hopefully we're just going to use the rest of it. We're going to see how much energy is left. And that'll be basically our big comparison and the final result. I am now decelerating, actually. So, it should be happening any moment. What I expect to happen is this screen to start flashing red, giving me some beeps, telling me that I need to pull over. But as it is, we're still doing 42 miles an hour.
We are dying, looks like somewhere around here. Ryan's probably wide open throttle doing 50 something miles an hour. So not even maintaining the speed limit anymore. Hopefully we can make it to a safe pull-off, but hey, no one's out here on these roads, which is always wonderful. And absolutely love that our buddy Dan is cool enough to let us borrow his truck and for him to bring it up here to charge up my Cyber. This is great.
With a very strong headwind. And there it is. It just passed a little dirt road that would have been great for a turnoff. But that's okay. We'll see how far this can take us. And looks like there might be a pullout spot up there. Okay, there we go. 116.2 kilowatt hours. Now, I want to do a little bit of math and figure out what this capacity loss is. So give me a moment and you'll join me once I've got the math.
This appears to be the final resting place, which is like the perfect place to stop and park. So I'm gonna nose the old 3 loaner right over here. And this is great. So, worked out awesome. Let's get it plugged in.
Here we go.
Cyber to cyber charging. And we're in.
Here we go. Perfect.
And we are charging 32 amps right from 0, 17 hours. Man, electric cars take forever to charge. Holy smokes. And all is good. 224 volts. It's just sagging on the other one. We'll give it like 30 minutes or so, and that should be enough to get to the station. I just shut off climate, so all the energy is going into the battery. So there we have the results. Before Ryan hits you with the actual results and everything, I want to tell you a little bit about the usage of my Cybertruck, how I've driven it, how I've taken care of the battery. From the time we took delivery of this truck for the first 6 months, we used it hard. It was supercharged very often. Excuse the dog barking. It was supercharged hard. We did a few 100% charges. We ripped it across the country nonstop. That was like day 2 of ownership, doing the truck cross-country race. We got it back up here to Fort Collins in Colorado, where we did all the truck comparisons. A lot of DC charging. In fact, throughout the entire year of 2024, well over 55 to 60% of the charging on this truck was DC fast charging, and maybe even more than that. I'll overlay a couple graphs here for 2024 and 2025, and you can see the internal Tesla charge calculators. It's really cool they offer that. The last point is, whenever the truck was not in use, when we weren't driving it hard, I typically charged it to when we needed to go on, use it for a long trip or something, around town, I'd charge it to 80%. When we would go on a big trip, I would, of course, charge it up to 100 before we'd leave. But most of the time, this truck, whenever possible, was AC charged at my house or at the office and set no more than 50%. So very, very often, even though we used the truck hard, it also sat at a very reasonable state of charge. And we've been talking about this a lot on our channels. The chemistry, the NMC chemistry that's in this truck really loves 30 to 50% for long-term storage. They don't like to be high. They don't like to be dead. And, I think that this degradation feels less than I was expecting from what you're about to see. But I think a lot of it is we used it hard, but then we also really took care of it when we weren't using it hard. And I think that's my theory on electric cars. You paid for the battery, use the battery. Don't worry about it. If you got something to do, don't let the car limit you. Charge it up to 100, drain it to 0. They're designed to be used. That is within the operational window of the car. However, when it's not in use, when it is of no inconvenience to you, keep the charge levels relatively low. The biggest things that kill them are high heat and high state of charge and letting them bake there. This truck never had that. And so I would say I'm really impressed with the performance, the degradation performance that Ryan's about to share with you. Only about 5 or 6%, but he'll go through the exact numbers. To me, it felt like more degradation, but that's also because we put the big off-road tires on it and the light bar that totally killed the usable range. So with all of that said, that is our, Cybertruck range, efficiency and, what am I trying to say? Our battery capacity test to look at cell capacity fade. I'll have Ryan finish up the video.
Okay, folks, we got 116.2 kilowatt hours. We originally took out 123 kilowatt hours when we did our first test. There was no decimal place for that, so I'm going to give you 2 numbers, and that would be if we saw 123 or 123.9 kilowatt hours. So given that range, that it's between 123 and 123.9, if we divide 116 by that, we're able to find that we see somewhere between 5.5 and 6.2% degradation. Again, over 26,000 miles, over a year of ownership, and a lot of DC fast charging. This truck was really driven hard, charged hard, had a pretty tough life, but still only 5.5 to 6.2% degradation. I think that's actually pretty impressive. I was expecting a lot worse, but here we are. Well, that's pretty much all I have for you on this capacity test. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.